miner's story. Cliff started working in a mine December 28, 1961. He was 14 years and 11 months old. Malcolm started down a mine in 1958 when he was 15.
Coal mining used to be a very important industry, not so much important now, but years ago, perhaps 150, 200 years ago, everything relied on coal. So originally, iron was produced using charcoal. They make charcoal from trees, so over the years they cut all the trees down and they run out of trees, so they needed something else to replace it. Abraham Darby I, he developed a method of using coal to make coke. The coal then was used in houses, fires, heating, cooking food, steam engines, and relied on a lot.
Could you please tell us what coal mining is?
Coal mining is the means of extracting coal for making power in power stations, and it was done in the early days, and it was done by hand. Basically pick, shovel and blasting the coal out. And when that was filled into small tubs, it was taken out on the haulage roads by young boys and then horses and into the shaft bottom to be taken out of the pit. In our day it was fully mechanised, where machines cut the coal and the roof supports were by big hydraulic support systems, and again coal was taken out via conveyor belts into mine cars and then up the shaft.
Each miner had a length of what we call the coal face, where the coal was. Coal's in a layer underground. It's like a layer of cream in a cake, and you take a bit out each day. So we used picks and shovels. We broke it down with the picks and explosives and the shovel to shovel it onto conveyor belt that went out of the pit. But modern days, it's all machinery. Machines cut the coal, load the coal and transport it out of the mine.
Did you always think that you would be a coal miner?
Yes. It was a sad day when I left. I'd go back down the pit tomorrow, no problem.
Never wanted to do anything else. I only ever had that one job working in the coal mines, and I worked for 35 years at Granville, and then when that shut I went to a pit in Cannock.
Granville Quarry in Shropshire closed in 1979, bringing an end to more than 700 years of coal mining in the area, which became Telford Newtown in the 1960s.
Well, I've always known about coal mining. Most of my family was employed in coal mining, so it was naturally for me to go in the mines. My mother didn't want me to go, but I wanted to go, and I think the main reason was it was good money. We always had good money.
What kind of job roles were there in the mine, and what did you do?
Great many job roles, from driving locomotives, hauling coal, conveyor belts to look after, maintaining the roads, fitters, electricians, the mining management down there as aldermen, shop firers, deputies. Me, I was electrician. All you've got down there is your own cap lamp, and you could work in conditions that were very confined, dirty, dusty.
Could be very hot in places, particularly the last pit I worked at Cannock, because it was that deep underground. It was very, very hot, and the men wore next to nothing, a pair of underpants and a belt and a pair of boots. That's all they wore because it was hot. In places it'd be very wet. You were wet through from head to toe, and you'd probably up to your knees in water. Then the opposite, in a pit, particularly in the pit bottom, it was very cold, and in this time of year, this weather like this, you'd have icicles and ice falling down the shafts. Very, very cold. People were issued with extra clothing, thermal clothing. They paid extra money.
One of the things is you looked after each other. You'd never let anybody struggle with the job. Mother Nature provides her own dangers.
Well, there's danger all around, but you were specially trained. Everybody was specially trained to do the job and to be where they were. when you weren't allowed to go on the coal face, for instance, until you were fully trained, until you were 18 years of age and fully trained. These rules and regulations had evolved over time. A lot of people didn't stop long because they couldn't do the job, they were claustrophobic and whatever, but I always liked it, I always enjoyed it.
We would like to know about your friendship with the other miners. How important was it to forge friendships?
It was very important because you learn to rely on each other, and yeah, it can be a boring job, any job can, but having a wee bit of humour made the day go by and lightened the workload.
There was lots of camaraderie, lots of friendship, lots of leg pulling and joking.
Before the plastic boxes were introduced to put your sandwiches in for your lunch, you used to have tin ones, and down the pit we also had mice. Just as a trick, we used to catch a few mice and put them in somebody's lunchbox after they'd had their lunch. Knowing full well they'd go home and turn around to their mothers or their wives and say, well, can you put me some sandwiches up for tomorrow? Of course, the lady of the house or whoever was doing the sandwiches would open the tin and there'd be one or two mice come screaming out at her. But you do work together and you look after each other, because if somebody's there to help you rather than struggle by yourself, that's half the load. Also, when it comes to safety, they might see factors of safety that you might have missed and vice versa. So the teamwork and understanding of the job went hand in hand, and you looked after each other no matter what. A number of occasions there were birds that were drawn down the downcast shaft, the force of the air, and used to live in the pit bottom. We used to capture them where we could and take them back out. But one of the things which I was always fascinated with, the great many fossils that we found in the coal seams. Finding fossils of large reeds and ferns to small shellfish, ammonites, and on the top coal, actually fossilised fish. We're miles from the sea, we're maybe 2,000 foot down. How did that get there? And when it comes to some of the fossil trees, I came across a couple that were like a palm tree. So again, it must have been quite tropical in this area, millions of years back. The only thing that I've kept is a safety lamp, and each collier had a little round disc with a number on it, and that reflected who that man was for identification purposes when you were travelling in and out of the pit. And I've still got mine now, and I always carry it with me.
Are there any mines open that you know of? How relevant is mining today?
Well, it isn't relevant at all, it's got no relevance at all nowadays, because people are doing away with coal. It's considered dirty, filthy, destroying the atmosphere, polluting the atmosphere. Or there might be one or two very small private mines down in South Wales, but there are museums, but they're very good for visits. If you ever have a chance to go and visit them, they're very, very good.
I recommend that you do while they're still there. See what it's like, try and get an understanding of how could you spend time down there working.
And that's it for the questions.